Change your mind, change your money, change your life. I am Coach Rob Lee Simmons, the host of this podcast, and let me be your tour guide to greatness.
I just wanted to for real this time, I want to get an idea of your philosophy on family finance and the importance of budgeting.
I think one of the biggest things that people need to understand when it comes to my philosophy is that everything can be done with the appropriate habits and time. Everybody really thinks that they don't have enough time to do it, but all you have to do is really implement the things that you want into your schedule. I think you looking at me like I'm saying something wrong. When we start over.
I was just trying to look at you like very like in love and sexy. I was acting. I was just like giving you this look.
Yeah, I think I need to unbutton.
You do. You do. I don't know why you feel so uptight. Like these niggas, they trying to get their credit straight. What you trying to do? How you gonna help them?
I really do want to help.
Tell us who you want to help. How? What? What you trying to do?
Can I just talk?
I'm trying to get you to. For some reason, you're not saying things into the microphone. Come on.
Yeah, because the way the question is asked just seems super button up. But I have a passion really for everybody to break those chains of like slavery, right? Because that's all it is modern day slavery. You wake up, you give time for money, and then we have this thing called the American dream that everybody knows exists, but nobody knows where to find it. And that's why people come to me, because I help them structure and I help them point them in the right direction to where that American dream is. I think if you're able to carve out really good habits, and a lot of those habits are learning something new.
Right.
And then just implement it into your schedule. Like you could do anything. I think one of the things my dad always taught me was to learn one new thing a day. And then, as he's passed and I've gone on to realize why that is, I think learning one new thing a day allows you to expand your horizon and to conquer anything. Yeah, you don't open up a can, so I can sit here and talk for about 30 minutes.
I think you should talk for 30 minutes.
Um,
I think you should tell us a little bit about just your background. Can you just give us a little bit about like how did you grow up and what was the American dream? What did that look like to you as a kid?
So I was born in Detroit, half of the time raised in Detroit. My mom worked several jobs. I think one of the things that helped me out today in my military life is that uh, we constantly moved. We constantly moved around, and that's I wrote that in my book. I learned that we were not well off. I don't think we were poor because we ate, but we were poor enough to not be rich. Um, and so grew up as a young kid in Detroit, bouncing from school to school, house to house. Moved to the suburbs, lived in 3 different houses, but my mom was fortunate enough to keep us in the same school. But you know, the American dream to me then was, uh, damn, the the American dream to me then was eating school lunch and not knowing if I was going to eat dinner. So school lunch was really the biggest thing for me.
So when you were a kid and you were going to the cafeteria in elementary school, your vision of having the best life in a world was being able to go into the cafeteria and eat lunch.
Yeah.
And you didn't envision your parent bringing you McDonald's or, someone dropping you off the sandwich that they made with a little note in the bag. You didn't have any of those desires for like what you would see normally like in a American sitcom.
I didn't watch a lot of TV.
Okay. That's fair.
So I didn't even have the ability to dream that big. And I think that is one of those things.
See, knowing that is crazy.
And lower income homes, and you see the things that you see daily with, kids hanging out on the block and kids, scraping for meals and being on free lunch. The realization of that life is you don't even have the capability to dream that big. Beyond school lunch, you don't have the dream, you don't have the ability to dream that big. And it's unfair. But that's the realization of
Do you think
it
that
is.
comes from exposure? Because I mean, like I'm going to use TV always because I feel like that's where a lot of my early childhood influence came from. But there were no examples beyond what you were seeing on a daily basis. Um, in any walk of life, like you can't remember being like at the doctor's office thinking, man, I'd like to be a doctor. This is a good time to talk.
Oh, I mean, the answer is no.
Mm.
No. When I got to about fourth or fifth grade, I wanted to be a firefighter, and then I wanted to be a dentist. But I wanted to be a dentist because at the time we moved to Roseville, and then the dentist outside there was a couple of nice cars. So I'm like, one of those got to be the
Yeah.
dentist.
You
So
wanted a nice car.
yeah.
So do you still have like this attachment to nice vehicles? Or even is that a part of your American dream?
I don't have an attachment to nice vehicles. I have an attachment to vehicles that fit me.
Mhm.
I think one of those is the F-150 that fits me. Just because when I had one, I know what I could do with it. Oh man, I accomplished so much stuff in that truck. I could move a refrigerator. I could help somebody move. I could randomly go buy a new dryer and go pick it up myself. I could go feed not feed, but go do a whole spring cleaning for a homeless shelter and plant plants in the front yard. I can load all of the mulch and all that stuff on my truck. Yeah, definitely a vehicle of convenience. And then I would say the other comfortable vehicle is probably something fast. I need being something fast because I need to be comfortable going fast. Hit the highway. You don't want to be in no slow vehicle on the highway.
Okay.
For what? For what? My favorite part about Washington D.C. is the people with fast cars because the traffic is so bad. I want to know when in the hell do they go fast in a fast car.
Yeah, it is a little counterproductive.
Yeah, that makes me laugh.
So I have another question. Your business philosophy is change your mind, change your money, change your life. How do you articulate that to a kid who has the same background as you? How do you get to their level and make them understand, or how can you contribute to them dreaming bigger, and despite the fact that they may not be able to see that, how can you help them change their own mind?
I think the biggest, I think being able to give them exposure to those things, being able to give exposure to kids who don't know no better, and being able to actually relate to them, to let them know, hey, I know you can't see it, But guess what? I couldn't see it either. But this is me being your mentor to let you know, hey, I've been at this level before, and I've been in a position to only be able to think so far. Changing your mind is really the biggest thing, and that's being able to let them know that the American dream does exist. Like, you can have a fast car, you can make $1 million in a day, you can pay $25,000 for a coach and monetize that and get 3 times the worth off of what you pay for that coach. Some of these things are possible, but a lot of times it comes down to experience. If you've never seen it, or you don't know anybody, or you've never been related to anybody who's made it happen like that, it's really hard. So what I would want to do is be able to be a mentor and a shining light. I think the biggest thing is like not being untouchable, being able to have an open door to people like that, so they can relate to you, and so that way, like, it's not such a big gap like there is in the wealth gap.
Hmm. That makes sense. That explains a lot. How have you seen, or who have you seen who is in the higher wealth bracket? Maybe it could be an athlete, maybe it could be an entertainer, who has been able to continue to maintain the level of access and impact, um, and also be on that status financially, like they technically are in the million, multi-million, or even $1 billion wealth bracket, but they are still very much, you can come in my office and get mentored as well.
You saying some of my mentors, or where's your question?
Who have you seen? Maybe it's an entertainer, or maybe it's a athlete. Who have you seen that is a millionaire or multimillionaire
That
that
has an open door policy.
has that level of impact and accessibility? Because ultimately you need the money to make the big impact.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get the money, normally you would have to create that cutoff of access, normally, because it's like you just can't be accessible to everybody. But who have you seen that has been able to do that?
The One of the most impressive people I've ever seen have that gives access to people is Jordan Lewis. He plays DB for the Cowboys. He's been he's coming up on a decade now, but he always gives back. He's not hard to reach. He doesn't mind sharing wisdom and some of the things that he's done to be successful. He's always hosting camps, and one of the biggest things about him is his heart. And he always uh, puts other players on a platform. When somebody gets a big contract, or somebody gets a new position, he's always the one rooting for him. And you would think, as a true competitor, that that would be against his nature, but absolutely an outstanding human being. It's just super godly, right?
I
Super
love it.
godly.
When you say that, another thought comes to mind. Like, I do see football players, NFL football players, going back into their own communities. I do notice that. I think right now athletes are on a war path, not just overall financially trying to, express that they're worth much more than they're being paid, but also that what they're contributing to is economic development in their local communities, or even just like youth impact. Um, I I'm curious for you, what's the next step? Where do you see yourself actually getting involved with these young people, maybe even the families, um, moving forward as maybe one of the main leaders in a community, especially as a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and also other organizations that you are committed to? Where do you see yourself um, wanting to go back or wanting to be in order to impact the community?
Yeah, I think right now my goal is really to plant a seed everywhere I go, right? So currently in one of my fraternities, I am building financial platform for veterans. So all of the veterans, not only within the organization, but veterans as a whole will be able to access these financial tools and resources and be able to then, build themselves up and then pass along the material. And I plan on doing that everywhere I'm at, wherever my next location is. I definitely want to ingratiate myself into the community. Definitely starting to build organizational platforms for churches, schools, nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, philanthropy is a really big deal, and the difference between like donating and philanthropy is giving money to do things. But I don't want to give money. I want to be able to give. Not I don't want to be able to give just money. I want to be able to give the economic resources to change communities, right? Because and we just talk about the herd, harnessing economic resources daily. One of the biggest things about one individual and the person being wise and financial literate about their money is the ability for them to know how they affect their community when they spend a dollar, right? And if they're able to understand the economic impact that they can cause within their community with that $1, it's the difference between going to like McDonald's and then Mama's Momo's Burger Shack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping that money in the community, because at the end of the day, Mama's Momo Shack is going to be paying the taxes in the location that
Right.
they live at.
Right.
Mama's Momo Shack is going to be doing free turkeys
Right.
in the neighborhood, and you are being a part and a contribution to that. And so, understanding that part of economic development within your community is one of those things that I want to teach, and I want people to highlight how important it is for their dollar to stay in their community.
I love it. I did a campaign back in, I want to say 2019, Eat Local in Kansas. And I really was determined for people to understand, like, stop driving out of town, and stop complaining about the fact that there are no great places to eat here. There were tons of great home cooks there that probably could have opened restaurants more than that
Facts.
did. Um, but overall, we did complete at the end of that campaign opening 4 restaurants in that economic spot, and we sat with economic development. We actually pitched to them for that. So I think that being a part of something like that, where you go into a community and I mean, with bare minimum resources, but if you get into a community and you actually connect with the people, and then you realize what the needs are, you have a much more advantage for to find success in creating small businesses, because you find out what the needs are.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I noticed, that town was just there was a division between the old way and the new way, and I'm starting to see that a lot in a lot of these small towns. Is the old way is just really fighting back, not to let go, and it's 2024. Like, at the end of the day, it's time.
It's about that time. I think that is super, super, super crucial as well. And like when we talk about economic impact, right? Because we all know that we were never taught this stuff in school. And if it was like surface. Nobody learned taxes or credit, how to read your credit report. That none of that stuff was learned. You may have learned you know, stock market 101. What is a stock? What is a bond? You may have learned that, but more than likely, uh probably not,
Yeah.
right? Probably not. But now with like the new wave of education coming, now you have so much access to social media and coaches and information, and now people are curious.
Yeah.
People are curious as to not only why did I learn this, but how did I not know these things that are probably the biggest part of my life, right? Like they
Right.
teach you,
Right.
hey, you got to go to work, you gotta pay bills, you gotta buy a house, buy a car. Uh, these are all of the things that they bred you to do in school, but they didn't teach you how to manage none of it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, um, I mean, we're here now. People are starting to figure it out, and now people are starting to recognize what is the American dream. And the American dream isn't just having those things, but it's being able to manage it and flourish from it and allow it to grow.
I love it. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. Are we switching seats?
Sure.
So, welcome to my show.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, I'm gonna just come out the gate swinging, right? So, you have this ability to allow people to dream so big. What gives you the what, let me take a step back.
Okay.
What gives you the pleasure of knowing that you have no limits?
What gives me the pleasure of knowing that I have no limits? The fact that I know that I have no limits brings me pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So, um I don't know how to answer that question other than the fact that that statement is true.
It's good.
So, I guess that's like it is facts, like there are no limits. And what's crazy is it's hard for me to accept that everybody can't accept that. That's what's hard for me.
So, how are you able to help people see that their dreams are obtainable?
A lot of the times I have to do it first. People are very much, I only believe it if I see it. So what I've done recently is try to maximize what people see. And by doing so, now I see more people believe.
Mm.
And now I'm learning and I'm also walking and exercising in the fact that if more people believe, you got to be better, right? Because you can't be having people believing in you and you're jacked up, especially if you're genuinely, truly trying to show people the limitless, ability that they have. So if I'm trying to convince you um, that you can do anything, there's nothing that you can't do, there's nothing that you can't have, and I want you to believe it, you got to see not only me get everything that I say I want, but also through the hard part of what I've had to conquer in order to get it. So it's like, dang, you opened a restaurant, but your kid had cancer during that time. So it wasn't all peaches and cream. And then people see that. So I am in this place right now where I'm trying to see how many people can I get to believe? And with their own belief, how many people can I ignite? And with that ignition, how much impact can I create?
How important do you think networking is, um, especially like within your own network? Like you may know somebody to who can cut grass, and then the person who need to cut grass need to get their hair cut, and sometimes you're able to put that together. How important is your network to you, and then why should people really focus on their own network and building and sharing?
Okay, let's start with my philosophy, which is we are all nomads. Ultimately, we are animals that habit the earth within space. And we start to get like real cloudy when we start to take it personal, everything that's going on. So what I try to look at this scenario like is it's important for us to make connections at every angle and every aspect of what we do. That is how the world works. Now, we've created things like the internet and business and all of these technologies but really the connection, the true connection is when two people either agree or disagree or move forward or move backwards together, right? So it's the only thing that matters actually. Your network is it's the only thing that's real. And um the perception of you by your network also can limit you. So if you have a big network because everybody knows you, but everybody knows you because you went to jail, that doesn't mean that you have a great network and that your network is going to impact. But if you have the type of network where everybody knows that you haven't failed, and even when you face failure, you still conquered it, and now there's tens of thousands of people saying the same thing. Now we're getting closer to global impact,
Right.
Changing the world, economic development, some of the things that we talked about before. I think it's so important and it's vital, which is why I only network. That's all I do. I only network. And while I'm networking, sometimes money is exchanged. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. That thing, I don't think it was planned.
Um, okay. What was your next question?
Can you tell me a little bit about um people that have limits and they don't got 8 kids like you?
Hmm.
How do you
Well,
feel about that?
it's a mindset. All of your limits are a mindset. I'm learning that about my 8 kids ultimately because society will have you to believe that your responsibility to your children needs to fall and conform under society's belief. It's crazy. It's like the only way this can happen is under our standard. And under our standard, it can't happen. But once you remove yourself from that societal norms, you kind of detach from what other people think. When you really truly understand your purpose and you like dig deep and you don't give a damn, then you'll start to realize when you maneuver outside of the things that you think are creating a boundary or the things that you've told yourself are in the way, you can actually like remove yourself from that. You can change your mind, which goes back into our philosophy. That's the first step of what being a goat is. Like, how are you calling yourself a goat and you can't even change your own mind, bro? Like, you can't change your mind. How are you going to help other people change their mind?
Facts.
So being able to be open to new information, being able to receive instruction, whether it be constructive criticism or mentorship, but you got to be able to hear that shit. And then once you've kind of got like this self realization, then you can change your own mind. Like you really can say, well, where did that initial boundary start? Where did I come up with this mindset that only can happen this one way? Like I have to be miserable because I have kids. No, you don't. I have moms ask me all the time, how do you do it? How do you do it? First of all, I don't take my kids to school. That's one of them things that y'all are doing that's stressing y'all out. And I don't have a 9 to 5 job. That's another one of them things that y'all are doing that are stressing you out because of the societal requirement, because of the mindset. Number one, that you must stay here in this high ass, expensive ass place. Number two, that you can only survive here. You would only be happy here. It's just a mindset. So for me, where I am right now, I am learning how to, by my example, help people change their own mind and remove their boundaries that they consider are boundaries and continue to go through them. Because really, a boundary is just in the way. A boundary is not an absolute. It's not. It's a barrier. It might be a brick wall. You just drill through it. It might be water. You just swim. It might be an airplane. You just jump out. And the crazy part is, it's going to be scary. It is. But it's not scarier than sitting in the same spot knowing that you're not going to go anywhere.
Ooh, that's deep.
So,
So, you're a Beyonce fan. Tell me one of those things. Not tell me one of the things. I want to know all of the things that why Beyonce is a blessing to your life, and then how does the things that Beyonce does influence your business aspirations?
okay. I don't know why thinking about Beyonce makes me want to get emotional. Um, it's crazy because people think I am a fan as in people who like to sing her songs and dance her dances. And that's not where I'm at. I've literally seen every single performance and I've followed her craft. She's a mastermind. And I feel like I'm a mastermind too. So I'm drawn to the fact that she's masterminding and people are spending a lot of money just to watch her do it. So for me, I've been a Beyonce fan since the 90s. I went to her first MTV tour. I slapped her hand. That's why she's doing great, because she touched me one day. And I'm going to continue to say that until she gives me a hug in real life. But at the end of the day, when I see Beyonce, I saw her in the 90s. I was in the front row in Nashville, Tennessee, at some amphitheater outside. I can't, Star Ward Wood or something like that. we're standing there and I'm watching her. She just had on like the same jeans I had on, okay? And like some little halter top. They were dancing. She had sneakers. I can't remember the whole outfit, but it was just basic, right? Like we all looked cute, everybody. I felt her equal. I did. And not just because, I'm that shit and I think, but no, she's a regular person. And because she's a regular person who has completely laser focused on her craft, now she's a superhero. Now she's a global star. She didn't look left and right and change her mind or any of that. And that's what I've learned from Beyonce is that she's been consistent about being who it was that she was destined to be from the very first day. And that's why she's ahead. That's why she's ahead. Not because she's better, but no, she's hard charging towards a goal and she hasn't looked in any different direction. I imagine, and these are the things that I've seen throughout watching her career, she's talked to Michael Jackson. She talked to Prince. She talked to Whitney Houston. She talked to Stevie Wonder. She talked to Anita Baker, Gladys Knight, all of these people, Shaka Khan. She spoke to these people and they gave her insight. And she took every single person's advice. I've seen her talk about it in interviews. She had an interview once with Oprah, and Oprah asked her, about her relationship. And she said, just do a good job of keeping it your own business. And Beyonce never spoke about her relationship since that interview. She listened. And then she didn't, y'all have never seen Beyonce in the tabloids about what she's done in her relationship. She has kept her nose clean the whole time. So some of these things that I'm watching her do as an example, business mogul, I'm like, okay, partner with other millionaires. Got it. Okay, travel the world and make sure they know who you are. Got it. Okay, be fit and beautiful at all times. Got it. Okay, bring your kids along and make sure they understand what type of royalty they are. Got it. Make sure your husband is a goddamn king. Got it. Like, I am literally taking notes of the example of how to be a mastermind. And maybe I did have 8 kids. Maybe I did decide to do culinary. Maybe I went to college and maybe I did some other things. She's mentioned she wanted to go to an HBCU. I did go to an HBCU. Maybe that's the difference. She still got bands playing in her shows like she went to a HBCU. So my admiration of Beyonce has absolutely nothing to do with what most people think. But when I go to Starbucks, I say Beyonce because that's how I view myself. Somebody, all of y'all in here know, and I have the guts to say it, and I look the part, and I can show you, and I have receipts. And you see what I'm saying? So I love Beyonce's example for women, for Black women, for business women, for mothers, for daughters, for sisters, for best friends. She's showing us exactly what it's supposed to look like, and she's bringing other people on. I'm very proud of her tapping into the country market because I know what she's doing. That's another thing. It's just like watching these Black women go get what's ours, go get what our children created. And I'm here for it.
So recently you've been studying Fawn Weaver. What are some of the things that you've learned about her
I don't know if I want to say this.
that
Y'all got to pay for this. No, go ahead.
will propel you in how you move in the business world?
This is the scary part because I know it's going to take. And that's what gets me emotional.
I told you I'm really good at this job.
Well, I'm emotional, so it's going to happen when I start talking about the things that are ahead of me because they're bigger than I envisioned. And God keeps blowing my mind. So, Fawn Weaver has, and it's crazy because as I come up with ideas that I would love to tell her about, I do more research and it's happening as I'm saying it. So I'll give you an example. I thought, Memorial Day is coming up. That would be a great opportunity for them to really show some Memorial Day like pride on Uncle Nearest's social media. And boom, they had a motorbike ride with the Eagle bikers. And it was just exactly what I would think. And when I start to see somebody doing that in business and it's like on track with my ideas, now you got my attention. Going to see the facility at Uncle Nearest in Shelbyville, Tennessee, opened my eyes to what my big desire is: a Black business Disney life. Like, because I love,
like over the top.
I love the experience. That is who I am. But I also think I love the experience because I know what it does for people's spirit, their heart, and their emotion. And when when people think of Disney as the happiest place on earth. But now she's kind of coined this Nearest distillery experience. It's going to be the happiest place on earth for Black people and adults. Like, it's really going to have like the history, the truth. She's got acres on top of acres. And I'm just watching. I've seen a couple of interviews that she's done over the years. I just recently ordered her biography, and her more recent book about Uncle Nearest, which is Love Whiskey. I just hearing her employees talk about her, that's the type of stuff I want. Over the last week when we were in Tennessee, I met with a millionaire and a billionaire, right? So I met their people, and walking around with their people let me know I need people. And Fawn Weaver's people, everyone's bought in. And I think right now I have people who are bought in. So I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to start creating and get out of my own way with not thinking my ideas are going to be impressive to people. I talked with a friend yesterday who's one of my spiritual and herbal mentors. And she said, like, ideally, how would you like to see this community come together? Like, how would you like to move forward? And I just want to work with people who want to work with me. I want to work with people who believe that what I'm saying can be done. And what I'm learning, literally sitting on the porch talking to her yesterday, what was revealed to me was that there are people who have bought into what it is that we stand for. It's time to rally them and start making an impact. And that's where I'm at. I think that's where I'm at. Watching Fawn Weaver, seeing how her employees like backed her up, everybody from the staff to the video crew to all of that. Same thing with Beyonce. People want to work for a woman like that, and be a part of a company like that. And that's just, for me as the female head coach of this company, I feel like I should have that type of impact and influence, and it's kind of mothering a little bit over my tribe.
You almost made me cry, girl. What does power mean to you?
To me, power is the ability to make change. And this could be good or bad. But if you can change something, you have some amount of power. I think there's definitely levels to it. Ultimately, God, the universe, Allah, Buddha, and whoever else y'all want to consider the one has all the power. Where we slip up, I think, is forgetting that sometimes. And that's just our human fault to think that we have some ultimate power. We don't. Where we have the most power is succumbing to our fate and then just like letting it happen. Somewhere along the lines, human nature has been sculpted to believe they have some sort of ability to change what is destined to be. And we don't. The only thing that we can do is accept it, experience it, and enjoy it.
Let me get a tissue for you.
I got boogered?
You look like some moisture on your nose. I don't know. You good. I'm still brewing this question, but I just kind of want to see. We probably even cut the question out, but um, do you think it's important for Black women to have grace?
Hmm. Well, that's a loaded
It
question.
is.
So what I'm thinking you want to know is what is my philosophy on Black women and using grace?
Yeah.
Because first of all, everyone should have grace. Now, why specifically would it benefit Black women to use grace or operate in grace? First, you have to forgive yourself for all the things that you hold in your way. We don't do that as Black women. We do not let that shit go. We hold on and harbor so much stuff. We don't give ourselves grace. Because we don't give ourselves grace, we're pissed. And you ain't getting no damn grace either. And that's just kind of the way that we were raised. Because the moment that you relinquish that shell and become vulnerable, become um, submissive in a sense to another person or in a leadership, someone in a leadership position, and it is either broken trust or danger. For Black women, we have been conditioned that it's nowhere is safe. Nowhere is safe, and always be prepared to have your guard up. I think that's why we struggle. Our grandmothers and mothers and great grandmothers, they had to battle so many traumatizing historical parts of our ancestry. So that nature became our culture, and our culture became our way of life. And now it's very taboo, but deep down, psychologically, there are a lot of barriers that need to be broken. Why? What's up?
That and them kids keep running across. I don't know why they in my yard.
The thing is, maybe you've never been on stage, but if your pants fall down, act like that was supposed to happen. I don't hear them kids because I'm right here. You keep looking, which also makes me get a little.
I got you. I'll let you know when it's time to run. I'm
Okay.
your protector.
Oh, I feel so safe. I do want to say this about grace, because I did have this conversation yesterday. It's so much more relaxing, and I see a lot of people talking about they want the soft woman life. You're gonna have to put all of your baggage on the kitchen table and dump it out. I'm talking about the little pocket with the coin that's stuck with the lipstick from 2 years ago. You're going to have to shake it all out and lay it all out on the table if you want the soft life. Period. Like, because the moment you can identify what just triggered you or what you had in your bag that may have gone missing, or what that person that is on the other side of the boundary barrier or conflict that you're having, what they did to cause that to stir up in you, you're going to bring the shell back. And bringing the shell back means you never really dealt with what was in the bag. You never unpacked it. I'm unpacking like literally every single thing that I possibly can with people that I trust. And I'm also learning who I can trust. And I think it's very important to go ahead and find your tight tribe so you can be who you are in front of them. They can constructively give you feedback with love, and they can show you grace when you fall or fail or, teeter back or whatever. But it's important that they continue to push you forward through that. And you can't get it. You can't get that type of relationship if you don't give yourself grace once you look at everything that you got in your bag. You know what I mean? Like if you are looking down and you're like, I ain't gonna tell nobody about this, I'm gonna put that back in the bag. You never really handled it. And you'll judge other people who have that same thing in their bag. You'll see it. and it'll disturb you because it's in your bag. That's where haters come from.
That's good. So let me ask you this. Like, as you go into your life, you start to progress, and then there's people in your life, and maybe you feel like you might have did them wrong, or you owe them, um, or they may even feel like you owe them,
Mhm.
right? As you progress in your life, and those people that don't really fit into the tribe, like, how do you deal with those people who are in your past but not in that new circle?
I understand that life is a journey. We're all nomads. We're on the earth. Gravity's holding us down here. It's not in my control. I need to like really shake this ego off because that's ego, right? I need to shake the ego off and like really come to the realization that some people are not meant to ride the train the whole way to the destination. Some people have a stop somewhere else. That's their journey. I have to disassociate myself from it. What happens is we have these emotional sanskaras, like some attachment that we've created with the person. It's probably in the bag that we talked about earlier. You never got it out of the bag. You never fixed whatever that was. So you just gonna hold on to it. And then when they're getting off the train, it's still in your bag and you don't have closure. And now you're feeling some type of way. So what I'm learning is being honest with myself about what those past relationships were, being honest with myself about those people may have experienced something that I did and it actually did impact them and they do deserve maybe an apology or a recognition to that, like out of respect for their space and time in my journey. They did put in some time so I could, entertain that if I wanted to, if I had the energy to, if I felt like it would help them further along in their journey. Then yeah, sure, I can apologize. I don't have a problem with that. And I can also apologize with absolutely no need for seeing them ever again. Like I'm learning that, everybody's not here to ride the train. And you hear people say all the time, it gets lonely at the top. And I don't think it's the top where it gets lonely. I think it's just we're all on our own journey. We're literally all individually on a purpose driven journey. There is no top. It's just I'm going upstairs on my journey. You're going upstairs on your journey. As long as we are compatible, we might be on the same floor at that time and we get to enjoy that. But sometimes the journey or the ladder keeps going for me. Yours goes left. You're getting off, going to somewhere else. Djibouti, who knows? And that's fine. Um, this is where I struggle with my monogamous philosophy. I don't think humans are monogamous creatures. I think that we are meant to exchange and interact with people. I think that there are partners that the universe brings with us that probably came from the past. I do feel like we have a very strong connected soul. So for you, it's like being with my spiritual person. Like, and that's just from my perspective. I can't speak for you, but so I feel a lot more comfortable being able to be who I am, getting my baggage out, opening my bag, shaking it out. Like I feel much more comfortable along this journey, which I think another misconception. I think monogamy is not real, some term that we've made up. I think we are allowed to, and we should enjoy the people that are with us as long as they're with us. Because not just a breakup can end a relationship. Sometimes death ends relationships. And if I hold on tight, so tightly to the construct that we're forever, I'm going to be really down bad when you're no longer there. And I want to respect that your life was a part of my life and I'm RIP, pour out a little liquor for you, but I don't want it to destroy me because clearly my ladder is still going up and there was more to my purpose. And that's just how I look at um, being on a journey. Some people are meant to stay, some people are not.
Like, I'm about to get fired. Are you about to fire me? My
No,
ladder is going so left. No,
you're perfect. Well, you're perfect for me. You're not a perfect person. You're not. You're right. You're not.
I'm not a perfect person.
You're perfect for me.
I forgot the words to the song. Um, so tell me about your perspective of the WNBA.
Hmm. Right now, the WNBA, well, let me just say this. I'm going to go back like I did for Beyonce. I've been a WNBA fan since the WNBA started. Before the WNBA started, I was a part of that group of girls that were like, we're going to be the first girls in the NBA because it wasn't no WNBA. Okay. So I've been here. I'm an OG WNBA fan. And my original team was the Washington Mystics when Shamiqua Holdsclaw played because I am Shamiqua Holdsclaw's clone. Google it. So I am really excited about what's happening right now in the WNBA and for women's sports globally. I think there have been, and I'm going to say this, and y'all can be mad if y'all want, but Black Girl Magic is all over this. Like really recognizing the impact that African American women are having right now on the whole world of sports. Everything from soccer, because you saw it during the World Cup, all the way to the Olympics, because Sha'Carri Richardson just broke some more records the other day. I don't know if you saw that or not. All the way to right now, we've got women in the WNBA who are now getting millions of dollars before they get drafted. So I think what's happening with women in that sport and in that organization is beautiful. I think we realized something as women when Brittany Griner had her incident with Russia. I think we realized nobody's coming to fucking save you. Nobody's coming to save you. We're going to have to do this shit ourselves. And I said I wasn't going to get emotional. I remember seeing her play in college. She was a kid. And granted, she made mistakes because we make mistakes. I don't think the world was ready for women to respond the way they're responding right now in women's sports. And I'm just excited to be a part of it.
I'm really good at my job.
I'm just really emotional. That's all. I'm
It's
in
the third time you cried.
You're making me talk about stuff I'm passionate about.
Yes, I'm good at my job. That's what I do. Reel it all out. Give me all of that.
Okay.
You think you the first person to cry on my show?
Shut up.
I edited some of them out.
Okay, fine. You don't have to edit my
I'm
tears.
not editing these out. This is good content.
Okay. I'm excited about the WNBA. I watch all the games.
Why do you think in business people should work with you?
Oh,
Hold on. Let's get these tears out because you're not about to start real with no tears.
okay, hold on.
You hold on.
Where's my people? I need people for this.
It's okay. Take your time.
Okay. You want to ask the question again? I know I look teary.
You probably don't need the question again. But,
Okay. Why do I think people need me in business? I am a professional jack of all trades. Like, I'm not just a jack of all trades who's tried things. Everything I tried, I win at. So, in all aspects of business, I started probably at 16 years old in a business course in high school. And I only took that class because I was already passing everything in English and it counted as an English credit. When I got in the class, I realized I really loved proposals. I love PowerPoint. This is where I found out I wanted to be a part of, the business club at school, and I enjoyed it. From that experience and moving forward to my ability to organize events and get people into places. 16 years old, I had the best birthday party. 17, I rented out the skating rink. It was slapping. 18 years old, I came home from college and threw a pajama party that went around the neighborhood. I am really good at getting people excited about coming to things. I'm good at marketing and telling and networking. Um, and I think what a lot of people do is they try to hire out individually those talents, but I possess them all at an expert level for over 2 decades. So I've got government experience. I've handled millions of dollars in accounts. I've sat with CEOs and, corporate business leaders. I advise some of the country's top leaders right now on a daily basis. So having me a part of your organization, it's like candy. Like it's really like candy because it's like, dang, we can add a little this jazz, sparkle, energy, whatever. And I have the experience and expertise, hospitality background, culinary background. I've worked for Fortune 500 companies. I've worked in fine dining restaurants. I understand the cream of the crop and the bottom of the barrel. And I think having that experience, being globally recognized, traveling the world, getting firsthand experience from products that are shipped internationally, crops and produce that is shipped internationally, speaking with fishermen in foreign lands. Like I am aware and I'm equipped and I'm excited about how I can help companies impact and grow. So it would it would be the smartest thing a company could do.
All right, baby. I done gave you about an hour of content. You probably got about 37 reels. Enough reels to last you 2 months. I was really thinking if I went TikTok live on this shit, I probably have 10,000 people on here already. A, because you cute, but B, because you talking. And C, because